Good evening, and thank you all for joining us. Could you please stand for the presentation of colors by the MPD Honor Guard and the singing of the national anthem by MPD staff member Crystal Meyer.
Broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Go ahead and take a seat. Every year, I get goosebumps reading through the award nominations. It's clear we live in a community that cares for others, and it's very clear the members of our department live out their oath to serve and protect daily. To start things off for us this evening, here's Madison Police Chief John Patterson.
Good evening, everyone. It's a sincere privilege for all of us on the stage tonight and for every member of the MPD in this room to welcome you to our annual Madison Police Department Awards ceremony. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy lives to join us in recognizing some truly amazing people who serve our community every day, both in and out of uniform, and some truly amazing examples of kindness and bravery from members of our community that were performed last year. Now, this year, we may end up coming in under an hour. For those of you who attend these in the past, we've had some injuries, we've had some personal issues that have come up last minute, and now we have one of our awardees on a call for service, and he can't break free. So we've condensed things a little bit at the 11th hour, so bear with us. We may go out of order in tonight's program. But at the MPD, we strive to reflect our mission, our vision, our core values, and our leadership principles in everything we do. And I think tonight you'll hear about some profound examples of this collective commitment to serve as true caretakers in our community in this great city of Madison. But before I begin, I would like to thank Mayor Rhodes Conway for her presence tonight and for what you will share with us soon. We all appreciate your ongoing support. I also like to thank members of the Common Council who may be here tonight, as well as members of our Police and Fire Commission. I see one there in the back. Our elected officials and our volunteer commissioners and board members are absolutely critical to the operations of this police department. And I'd like to pause for a moment and just ask that you join me in a round of applause for their service to our community as well. Thank you. Now it is my pleasure to introduce Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I've been reflecting today. I started my morning upstairs at the Urban League conference, where we were talking about the importance of workforce development and maintaining a diverse workforce, and the importance of everybody in our community having access to a good career pathway. And among other things, I thought, well, gosh, they should come work for the city. Because it is a good career pathway. We do have a diverse workforce, and you'll see some of those folks that come across this stage tonight, and we're very proud of them. Then this afternoon, I went out to the ribbon cutting for the new Center for Black Excellence in Culture on the South Side, which if you haven't followed this, please go down there and visit it. It's an amazing, gorgeous, incredible building that will be such an asset to our community. And I tell you this because I feel like the theme of the day is community. And the ways in which we in the Madison community show up for each other. Whether that's investing in each other so that we can get good jobs, whether that's providing cultural spaces where people can feel seen and heard, or whether that is literally saving each other's lives. All of that is important. Public safety is a community effort. You'll hear a lot about folks who provide public safety for their job tonight, and we should recognize and thank them. And so let me start by saying thank you to all of you folks in uniform tonight for the work that you do. But public safety is everybody's job. It's a community effort. And I'm always impressed at these ceremonies by the folks who are being recognized for whom it's not their job. And they stepped up anyway. And I'm really glad that we have a place and a time that we recognize that, because it is a community effort. Public safety requires dedicated collaboration between police, community development, public health, violence prevention, mental health services, and all of you, and every single resident. And tonight, we get to recognize some of the things that maybe go unnoticed otherwise in our day-to-day. My experience is most of the folks who get these awards are a little embarrassed. They didn't do it for the recognition. They maybe don't like the spotlight, but I'm glad they get the spotlight because these stories are amazing and it's important to recognize them. You're gonna hear about individual acts of bravery and quick thinking, but you're also gonna hear about the power of community. You're gonna hear about collaboration across borders and folks from other agencies that helped MPD. You're gonna hear about community members who, instead of being a passive bystander, ran towards trouble and helped, which takes some courage. And these stories are, I think, emblematic of a broader truth about our community, which is that we have to take a multifaceted approach to public safety. It is all of our responsibilities. And we have at the city embraced a holistic strategy to tackle public safety issues. Of course, our police officers play a critical role. They're our first responders. They're on the front lines in times of crisis. Their work is indispensable, and their presence is a cornerstone of our public safety framework. But the effectiveness of their work is amplified when they work with community-based organizations, violence prevention workers, and people like the folks that we're celebrating tonight. The city works through our community development initiatives, funding things in our community to prevent violence, working on safety and health for our community, working at the root causes of crime and instability, and providing support and resources that uplift our most vulnerable residents. Public health also plays a pivotal role. They look at violence in the community as a public health problem, and their work ensures that our approach to public safety is not just reactive, but also proactive and preventative. And I know we're in a room full of police officers, but we can't forget our friends in the fire department. They play a critical role too in public safety. And in particular, I want to shout out to the CARES program, because we know that supporting people when they're having crises is vital to our community's health and safety, and actually can take pressure off of our police force. All of these services work together to create a safer Madison, where we can care for and look after each other, where when any one of us is called to contribute to the safety of our community, we can step up and be part of that. Each component is vital, and the synergy between them is what makes our community resilient and strong. Thank you all for being here tonight. There's a lot of things going on in Madison. You didn't have to be here. So I appreciate you taking time out of your busy lives. And I appreciate that we all can feel safe and respected in Madison because of the work of the folks who will cross this stage and get an award, but more importantly, because of the work of everybody in the Madison Police Department and all of our colleagues across the city who spend every day working to keep the city a safer place. Thank you all so much for being here, and thank you to the folks from MPD, and congratulations to all of the award winners. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. For those of you receiving an award tonight, we ask that you keep an eye on one of the screens near the stage, and once you see your name pop up, please head to the right side of the stage so you can accept your award. Helping present the awards tonight are Chief Patterson, Assistant Chief Paige Valenta, Assistant Chief Matt Ty, and Assistant Chief Angie Kamaski.
Our first awards tonight are being presented to community members, people who simply care about their city and helping others. They weren't afraid to jump in when someone needed help, and some faced danger when they did. Our first award goes to Miss Brooke Larkin. Last winter, while driving on the east side, Miss Larkin saw an injured man lying in the middle of the road. She pulled over and began providing medical assistance, including chest compressions. She continued to care for the man until officers arrived on scene. The man eventually became responsive and was taken to the hospital for serious injuries. We want to honor Miss Larkin for the bravery she showed that day. She sprung into action without knowing the circumstances surrounding the man's injuries. For her compassion and quick thinking, we present Miss Larkin with the Life Saving Award. Thank you.
All right, John, you ready? Okay. Team City is a phrase that we use here in Madison. It's one that shows the importance of our collaboration between agencies and employees. And our next honor goes to Madison City Parks Ranger John Ringwood. Operating in his capacity as a city park ranger, Ringwood would often do proactive checks of our city parks, and on several occasions, he has aided our police officers during investigations and even with arrests. Ranger Ringwood has also worked with our department's drug recognition expert, or DRE, to provide a professional development training to other City of Madison park rangers so they can better identify people who may be under the influence of drugs or alcohol and in need of help. So because of his willingness to work together and collaborate to make our community a safer place for all, We honor Ranger Ringwood with the Outstanding Support Award. Okay, our next recognition tonight goes to a woman who's become a partner to our department on animal neglect cases. She's unfortunately recently retired. Marcy, where is Marcy? Oh, here she comes. All right, excellent. Take your time. Assistant City Attorney Marcy Kurtz, now retired, worked to negotiate animal surrenders. She drafted petitions for the custody of the animals and argued in circuit court to get custody of animals connected to multiple cases of neglect. Her work has spanned more than a decade, and we were sad to have it come to an end last fall. But in 2015, she helped save 10 animals, some injured, who were living with their owner in a filthy vehicle. In 2018, she proved no animal was too small to fight for when she drafted a petition for custody of a pet rat that had been stabbed, unfortunately, by its owner. Last year, she helped with an investigation into 10 dogs that frequently escaped their owners and have been known to bite community members, including members of our own staff, and I believe the fire department as well. Last fall, she helped draft a petition for custody of dogs that were found in a hot vehicle that were suffering from absolute distress. Retired Assistant City Attorney Marcy Kurtz would always take on the additional work out of her love for animals. She was always quick to help us, not just with animals, but with basically any request that we would make. And tonight we'd like to commend her for her partnership, congratulate her on her retirement, and present her with an Outstanding Support Award. I don't think she misses my calls or texts, but she said she did. Last year, a special group of people worked together to improve the exterior grounds of the Midtown Police Station. It's good to see you. I just saw her at 12 o'clock today. Members of the Sunset Garden Club brought their horticultural skills and professionalism to the project, but also demonstrated a deep commitment to civic pride. If you drove past the Midtown Police Station in the last 3 years, you would agree that their work was much needed at that time. So their work has elevated this space, making that station a much more welcoming place for our community and for our staff. And this value was mirrored by the Sunset Garden Club. For all that they've done to beautify this space, for our both community and staff, we'd like to honor them with the Outstanding Support Award. Thank you.
Bonnie Rowe has a deep commitment to public safety and the well-being of our community. She's actively engaged in city government and works to help inform people of what is happening in their neighborhoods. Bonnie consistently supports our department's initiatives and helps spread our safety messaging. For the past 4 years, she has served as a community representative on the committee that reviews the nominations for this ceremony. In recognition of her outstanding work and dedication on the awards committee, we honor Bonnie with an Outstanding Support Award. In October, our department held a special healing ceremony that brought together the survivors of the Abundant Life Christian School shooting and the first responders who assisted on that call. EPIC was instrumental in making that event possible. When the planning committee began searching for a space, EPIC immediately stepped forward and provided a venue on its campus and prepared a meal for all attendees at no cost. EPIC staff understood the importance of this moment and showed extraordinary compassion and care to our community and to those connected to ALCS. To close the evening, EPIC offered rides on the iconic Ella's Deli Carousel, which helped bring a bit of joy at the end of a very emotional night. For their generosity and partnership in support of this healing event, we honor EPIC with an Outstanding Support Award. It's training we hope we would never have to use, but we're grateful to have when the dispatch tones alerted us to the shooting at Abundant Life Christian School. Madison Fire Department Division Chief Dan Williams and Madison Fire Department Lieutenant Brad Olson have played an instrumental role in our department's active shooter readiness. Through their efforts, more than 900 City of Madison first responders have completed joint actor shoot of incident management training. This hands-on, scenario-based training has been integrated into our real-world response, and it saves lives in moments like these. For their partnership and leadership, we honor Division Chief Williams and Lieutenant Olson with Outstanding Support Awards.
So Captain Olson, slight field demotion, sorry about that, but he's retiring after over 30 years of service to the City of Madison. Can we give him one more round of applause, please? Appreciate you. He's been an amazing partner and amazing public servant, so I appreciate you. So tonight, and I'm a little nervous with this part because we have a smaller crowd, but hopefully we have a few in here. But tonight we'd like to take a moment just to recognize all of the people who were promoted in the last year. So are there any promoted individuals in the last year? Yes! Thank you, Captain Nordquist. Thank you for your willingness to step forward and lead. He's doing an amazing job in our community outreach section, so thank you very much, man. All right, at least there was one. That's fantastic. All right, so this next incident might be hard to hear, and I'll try to edit maybe my notes a little bit. But last fall, a woman drove to her workplace and left 7 Great Dane dogs in her van and left it parked in the sun when the outside temperature was 80 degrees. So there was minimal airflow, there was no access to water, and the dogs were left alone for over 4 hours until the owner came back to check on them. She obviously found them suffering from heat stroke and in medical distress, but it wasn't until another 2 hours passed when concerned community members noticed the dogs in the van and called 911. Madison police officers responded with staff from Animal Services to the scene, and 2 of the dogs, unfortunately, had already passed away in the van. And the other 5 were in need of emergency veterinary care. So our police officers worked with Animal Services to quickly load the 100-plus pound dogs into their squad cars, who are obviously still crying out in pain, and rushed them to the nearest vet clinic, the veterinary emergency group. Officers remained with the dogs while they were treated, and unfortunately 3 more of the Great Danes passed away, but 2 were able to survive. And this was, if you're a dog person like me, this is truly a heartbreaking call with absolutely senseless suffering. It took a collaborative team effort between our police officers, between Animal Services, and certainly with veterinary medical staff. So we'd like to thank all those involved for caring for the animals, comforting those who passed, and helping save the lives of the 2. For their work, we thank Veterinary Emergency Group staff, Animal Services Humane Officer Shane Elzinger with the Outstanding Support Awards.
Did Carl Raditz make it off? I'm going to read it anyhow because it feels like Carl was planning to be here. He's on a call and unable to break. So it's a brief award. I'm going to read it quickly. Our next round of awards is full of quick thinking and brave acts that ultimately save someone's life. A little over a year ago, someone called 911 to report a person having a medical emergency. Officers arrived on scene to find the person lying on his bed bleeding. Officer Carl Raditz immediately began chest compressions. After several minutes had elapsed, the patient regains his pulse. Once the pulse was regained, EMS workers were able to transport the patient to the hospital. Because of his efforts, we recognize Carl Raditz with a life-saving award. Again, unable to be here because he's on a call working right now, but just a round of applause for him. Officers arrived at a Southside apartment complex a year ago to find a woman yelling that someone inside her apartment had been shot in the chest. Several officers arrived at the scene at the same time. 2 began treating the victim, providing chest seals to stop the bleeding, and even used a plastic bag and duct tape on the exit wound. The other 2 officers stood guard to protect them, and the other first responders, since it was learned the shooter lived within the same apartment complex. These officers divided the necessary work amongst one another quickly and efficiently and ultimately saved a man's life. For that, we honor officers Jason Ramirez, Guadalupe Brown, Gabriel Heck, and Lester Moore with life-saving awards. Our next recognition goes to several officers who responded to an attempted homicide in our East District. Last summer, a man was suffering from 2 gunshot wounds outside of a liquor store. Officers arrived on scene and immediately began life-saving measures on the victim. They applied a tourniquet to his leg and a chest seal to his torso. Their quick actions and teamwork stabilized the man enough to be transported to the hospital for medical attention. For their exceptional performance of duty, we honor Sergeant Thomas Finnegan and Officer Ryan Finnegan with their life-saving awards. Last fall, 2 officers were dispatched to an assisted living facility for a report of an unresponsive person. These officers arrived on scene before EMS and located the patient lying on the ground in the front office. These officers took over for a staff member who was actively giving CPR to the patient. The patient was turning grayish in color, and officers rotated during chest compressions for several minutes. Once EMS arrived, they were able to locate a pulse and transport the patient to the local hospital. For their swift action on the call, we honor Officers Brett Zarupa and Hamp Johnson.
Our next life-saving award stems from an incident last fall. A family member called for help when their uncle stopped breathing and became unresponsive. An officer arrived on scene and immediately took over performing chest compressions on the patient for several minutes until EMS arrived. They were able to restore the patient's pulse and transport him to a nearby hospital for further medical treatment. We believe Officer Shafaq Chowdhury's actions helped save this man's life. Tonight, we recognize him with a life-saving award. A volleyball coach reached out to thank our next officer. During a break at a tournament, one of her players began choking on his dinner, showing clear signs of distress. The coach called out for help, and Officer Joel Haar, who was off duty, stepped in. Officer Haar performed the Heimlich maneuver and was able to clear the food stuck in the player's throat. The coach shared this about the incident. Thank you, Officer Joel, for your service and steady presence in moments that matter. His calm response and willingness to help show that kind of character makes a real difference. Tonight, we honor Officer Haar with a life-saving award. A year ago, Officer Grace Howard responded to East High School, where she serves as a liaison. While on routine patrol, she was notified that a student was bleeding from a self-inflicted injury in a bathroom. She began assisting school nurses Aubrey Madai and Amy Mueller in rendering aid. Officer Howard applied a tourniquet while the nurses dressed the injury and monitored the student's pulse and breathing until paramedics arrived. For saving this student's life, we honor Officer Grace Howard, Aubrey Madai, and Amy Mueller with life-saving awards.
This year, we awarded 183 exceptional performance citations to dozens of members of our department. These citations recognize all types of contributions made by sworn and professional staff. We want to recognize those of you in the audience. If you received an exemplary performance citation, please stand up. Yay! You went above and beyond on a call for service or a project. Thank you for your hard work. And if you've received a life-saving citation, please stand up. Well, nonetheless, some fantastic work was done out there, and we very much appreciate that. Outstanding service awards are given to employees who have demonstrated exceptional performance over the course of a year or more. For the past several years, Officer Brandon Sheridan has been a member of the Special Events Team. The Special Events Team is a group of officers who have specialized training to work in large crowds. While serving on set, Officer Sheridan played an important part in the equipment procurement and storage process. He kept an immaculate inventory of all equipment and created an organizational structure that will be used for years to come. For all his work, we honor Officer Sheridan with an Outstanding Service Award. Our next Outstanding Service Award goes to investigator Brian Shaw. The detectives who nominated him wrote, "Investigator Shaw is professional, knowledgeable, and hardworking. His hard work does not go unnoticed, but it is too often perhaps overlooked, which is why this award is well-deserved and long overdue. Investigator Shaw is a digital evidence expert. His work largely involves recovering evidence from computers and cell phones. He often works in the background of criminal investigations, and many in our community likely do not know about the role he plays in solving their cases. For his continued exceptional work, we honor Investigator Shaw with an Outstanding Service Award." Shortly after being assigned to the Central District, Lieutenant Dave Meinert began reviewing calls for service data to help reduce crime in the downtown area. He identified the location with the highest calls for service in the district and examined ways to create better outcomes. He collaborated with staff at the facility and officers to strengthen problem solving. His efforts helped support a significant reduction of calls at this location and also enhanced the service the police provided when they did respond. For this, we honor Lieutenant Meinert with an Outstanding Service Award.
As we heard earlier with our fire department colleagues, training is key when it comes to how people respond to active threats. And training officer John Drollinger understands this. He has demonstrated exceptional leadership in guiding our department's active shooter preparedness. As a member of the Dane County Active Shooter Incident Management Training Team, he's played an essential role in bringing this type of training to all of Dane County. This experience has led to his being invited to teach nationally and assist and develop the new national ASIM curriculum. Through these partnerships, Officer Drollinger has represented our department across the United States and Dane County. These relationships are vital to the integrated response needed during active shooting incident. And here within MPD, Officer Drollinger has created scenarios and new trainings for our pre-service academy to help our newest officers best prepare for active threats. Officer Drollinger's humility and selfless devotion to active shooter preparedness within our department and other partner agencies have undoubtedly increased our readiness for these events and saved lives. For that, we honor him with an Outstanding Service Award. For years, one of our affinity outreach groups, Amigos in Azul, has been under the leadership of Detective Gracia Rodriguez. For the past 7 years, she's helped the group evolve its Latino Youth Academy, expand its soccer series, launch a monthly La Movida show focused on traffic safety, create new community partnerships, and the list goes on and on and on. Her time, her ideas, her heart and passion all helped this group grow to what it has become today. And for that, we honor Detective Rodriguez with an Outstanding Service Award. Nora in the building? All right. I think we have a last minute cancellation.
A tragedy in a neighboring community where 2 young boys lost their lives after falling into a retention pond led our department to rethink how we respond to water rescues. As a result, every MPD squad car is now equipped with an orange rescue disc, which is a throwable flotation device. Months later, that decision saved a life. In June, officers were dispatched to a crash involving a car in a retention pond. Before officers arrived, community member Justin Merrill jumped into action, swimming to the sinking vehicle. The driver, in shock and unable to swim, was trapped as water filled the car. Justin forced the driver's door open and pulled the driver onto the roof of the vehicle. At the same time, community member Willie Mallard grabbed a life jacket from his car and waded into the water, handing it to the officers as they arrived. Officers Jason Ramirez, Gabriel Heck, and Casey Main quickly removed their gear and entered the pond. The officers swam to the victim and pulled her to shore, utilizing one of the orange rescue discs thrown to them. Officer Dustin Clark met the team and helped bring the woman to shore. Because of the swift, coordinated actions of both officers and community members, she is alive today. Tonight, we honor Officers Ramirez, Heck, and Main with a meritorious life-saving award, and Officer Dustin Clark with a life-saving citation. To Justin and Willie, we thank you for showing courage and going above and beyond to help a neighbor in need. Justin, we present you with a life-saving award, and Willie, a community member recognition award.
While on his way to respond to a violent disturbance, Officer Matt Johnson noticed a vehicle speeding away from the home and conducted a traffic stop. At the time of the stop, Officer Johnson was operating alone without the benefit of immediate backup. Several people inside the vehicle were under the influence and appeared to be injured. As Officer Johnson approached the vehicle, a passenger got out and advanced on him. Officer Johnson responded with exceptional composure and de-escalated the confrontation. This allowed him to turn his attention to gravely injured passenger still inside the vehicle. This person was suffering from a deep cut that likely struck an artery. Officer Johnson applied a tourniquet and provided other medical aid. The injured person was agitated and tried to flee several times while he was being cared for. Officer Johnson was required to restrain him physically to ensure he remained on the scene and received emergency medical attention. EMS arrived shortly thereafter, and the injured person was rushed to the hospital where he underwent emergency surgery. The following day, his mother contacted our department and wanted to share her gratitude with Officer Johnson. She credited him with saving her son's life. Officer Matt Johnson demonstrated exceptional courage and sound tactical judgment on this call. For his actions under extreme pressure, which ultimately saved a person's life, we honor him with a meritorious life-saving award.
Last winter, Sergeant Chris Keyes and Officer Gabriel Heck were dispatched to B.B. Clark Beach for a woman who had fallen through the ice. The woman was struggling in the icy water when they arrived. Thinking quickly, they located a nearby paddleboard, which they used as a raft. Carefully, they made their way out onto the ice toward the woman. They were able to pull her from the water, place her on the paddleboard, and tow her back to shore where paramedics were waiting. By the way, the temperature at the time of the call was -12 degrees with a -20 wind chill. For their quick thinking and willingness to place themselves in harm's way, we honor Sergeant Keyes and Officer Heck with a meritorious life-saving award.
So last fall, K-9 officer Ryan Kimberly, who unfortunately could not be here tonight, was critically injured in a call that I'm sure many of you saw on the news over recent months. It was a call when a tow truck driver led a police officers on a high-speed chase originating in Monona, and ultimately it ended in McFarland. Monona officers asked for help from surrounding agencies during the chase, including our department, and Officer Kimberly responded to the vicinity in the event that he may be able to assist. As officers pursued the subject, he traveled again into nearby McFarland and ultimately crashed his tow truck, squarely head-on into the squad car that was driven by Officer Kimberly, who was also with his K-9 partner, Freddie. Almost immediately, the tow truck and the squad car caught fire. These officers standing to my left noticed that Ryan was gravely hurt and that he needed to be immediately extricated from that squad. They tried to keep the fire under control, but realized that it was growing too quickly, and both cars eventually became fully engulfed. Working together, this team, with others who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, dragged Ryan to safety and began providing emergency care to his injuries, including applying multiple tourniquets. They also worked to remove K-9 Freddie and led him to safety. I firmly believe that if it weren't for the quick decision-making by these officers, that we may have lost Ryan that evening or that day. So these officers tended to an injured fellow officer in K-9, secured the scene, and collected evidence on what was an absolutely intense and emotional incident. And Chief Redmond, I appreciate you being here tonight. Your officers were exceptional that day. Thank you. So for saving Ryan's life, we award McFarland Sergeant Anthony Kraft, McFarland officers Kevin Schneider, Nolan Bakken, and Matt Schrockenthaler with our highest award, the Meritorious Life Saving Award. Congratulations. Thank you for that. They certainly deserve that ovation, so thank you. Officer Kimberly is still recovering from this incident even today. So you all know in June we will be honoring him with the Blue Star Award, which is also one of our highest honors. Today he's spending some well-deserved time with family. The trial just concluded from this particular incident, and I absolutely think he needed a break, and I'm glad he took it. So please continue to keep him in your thoughts and your prayers, and please reflect on what sacrifices are sometimes forced upon us, I think, in times of service. So thank you all again for coming tonight to recognize some truly amazing people, both in our community and in our police department while in service to others. I want to take a special thank you to Alyssa Keynes and Stephanie Fryer for all of their work to make tonight possible. There is a ton of work to pull this together. So when we get last-minute cancellations, it does cause a little bit of panic, perhaps, but I appreciate all the work you did. And I have to say also, Alyssa, Stephanie, and Yvette Craig, who's sitting over there, have collectively done some truly amazing work over the past year to help bring us together with our community in very meaningful ways. So I thank the three of you for everything that you did last year and you continue to do every day. So can we give them a quick round of applause, please? Now, please remember that next week is National Police Week. So it's a time for remembrance and reflection to think about those who paid the actual ultimate sacrifice in service to their communities last year. But it's also a time to celebrate those who continue to serve their communities and remain committed to their communities each and every day. So over this next week, sometimes this week seems to pass without much fanfare. I just ask that you all take a minute. If you see someone in uniform, please give them a thank you. Thank them for their service. Our officers, I don't think, hear that enough. So please consider that in the coming week. So for the kids in the room, special thanks for your attention tonight. Appreciate that. Remind your parents there's plenty of sweets and brownies and cookies to grab on your way out. Thank you all again for your time and attention tonight. Have a great evening. Have a good night. Appreciate it.